Good evening. Hello guys, how are you doing? Hello Rupali ma'am. Hi Anupam. Hi Sylvester. So here we are at 7 p.m. Actually 7:01 p.m. And this is Back to Basics Online, brought to you by Shetes Institute. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. We have a very, very special guest with us today. Till now, we have brought to you faculties of Shetes. We have brought to you some outside experts. Yesterday, we met Dr. Hemant Thakur, who is a PhD in psychology. And today, for the first time, we bring to you one of our ex-students, one of our alumni. So for the last 30 years, Shetes Institute has been playing a small squirrel's role in helping people develop great lives by building their foundations, by building the foundation of their career. And we are very happy that our first alumni speaker today is here, and we will be inviting him to join us in the next 2 minutes once we have a little more people in the room. Room बोलने की आदत लग गई because we teach in a classroom. So those of you who do not know me, those of you who are Sylvester's followers, I am Avirat Shete, and I am the director of Shetes Institute of Academics Private Limited. We are a 30-year young educational institute, and we believe that if the right coaching is given to the students at the right time, not only do we create ambitions in their life for building great careers, at the same time we also give them a lot of value additions. So hi Kinnari, hi there, hi Aditya. So everyone who is here, thank you so much. I am going to get Sylvester online here. So Pontus is the name. Pontus is his last name, and that is his Insta ID. So Sylvester.
Hi there. Good evening, sir. How are you doing?
Good evening. Your voice is a bit low. You will need to raise the volume a bit.
Is this fine now?
Yes, this is better. And yeah, change the angle so that people can see your handsome face.
Perfect. Yeah. Yeah, this is fine, I guess. Yeah.
So you will really have to speak with the mic close to you.
Yeah, I'm pretty.
So
this is
good
pretty
evening,
great.
Sylvester.
Good evening.
And guys, is he audible? Can you give us a thumbs up if you can hear Sylvester? We'll just wait for a second or two till people confirm that they can hear you. So I can see some of your followers have also joined us here. I see some new names. So Rodriguez Rochelle, I believe, is someone who follows you.
My wife.
So she follows you everywhere.
Yes.
Yes. So Sylvester, tell the audience about what you are and what you're doing currently.
By profession, I'm a sales guy. So I've been working into sales for almost 13 years right now. By the side, I also developed something that I always wanted to follow, because since childhood I was into stage events, in fact, and that's how I developed on what I felt I should always do, and that is hosting. So as a master of ceremonies, I've been hosting for almost 11 years, from the age of 19 till now, in fact.
Oh, really?
So yeah. So that's what I do. And recently, I just decided to pen down the experiences of how I've grown from the teenage to right now, so that it could help others in a book, which will soon be out, called The Stage is Yours, Exploit Your Potential.
That's awesome, man. So I recently heard that your story was picked up by, your book was picked up by Crossword, right?
Yes, that's right. It was, I don't know, I had approached a lot of kind of traditional publishers, but I was very surprised when they just wrote back to me stating that we'd like to publish a book, and I said, man, I'm all game for that.
That's awesome, and congratulations from all of us at Shetes. And
Thank you very
Sia
much.
has sent you special congrats because she's 16 and she's writing a book right now called Letters to Ruth. She will be publishing it sometime soon. She's completed around 5 chapters, and just like you sent me your manuscript for reading, I think a year back.
Right. Yes, that was a year back.
Yeah. So definitely someday we'll send you her manuscript. And okay, so Ria De Silva is saying cutie pie. So who's that, Sylvester?
They're my office colleagues.
Oh, cool. Yeah, he is a cutie pie. I mean, I think you were a student like what, 10 years back?
Yes, for 11th and 12th at Shetes.
Right. So tell us something when you entered Shetes as a gawky teenager, as a commerce student. What at Shetes actually helped you to become what you are today?
So I'm sure you would know about this, that I wasn't the brightest student at Shetes, and that every time I would walk into class, I would have the last and the corner seat of the class. If you remember that, I would always be at the exit. As soon as you would leave, I would leave. So last in and first out, basically, say. So yeah, and Ajay sir will actually very well go ahead and say second that. But on an honest note, in terms of education wise, if you know that you would always teach us bookkeeping, but in between we would stray onto topics that would be real life topics. That it could be about someone's journey of hardship, how that person went ahead and developed themselves. Every time there would be a life lesson in your lectures, and moreover than the bookkeeping, I would always pay very close attention to these stories, because you yourself used to say that stories are something that connect with people. And I'm always a story guy, so for me stories are very attractive. And the way you would tell stories about how people coming from poor backgrounds would even have the chance to succeed and put all their effort in and do that, those were things that I would like always kind of grasp, and that those are things that I still have with me. When it comes to certain teachers being a little kind of I would say, I mean, I've never been the best student. So Ajay sir would say that, he would always scold me and always be one of those guys who would say, you need to keep a track of your future and stuff. But at that point of time, I would say that, why is this person going ahead and yelling at me? But today, I would say 10 years down the line, that it is all sculptures. The person who actually makes, what do you say, statues, they kind of hit the hammer on rocks a million times to chisel them into a masterpiece. So today I would say that, if I meet Ajay sir, which I have not met him in quite some time, I would be very thankful to him because of, those chiseling and hammer hitting sessions have actually made not only me, but other students as well where they are today.
Yeah, definitely. Ajay sir, for those who don't know, Ajay sir has been with Shetes right since the start. And some of you have been fortunate enough to learn from him. Now he doesn't teach, but he's a chief mentor. He's the person who talks to students as well as parents. And many of the parents actually end up spending an hour or a couple of hours just talking to him. Many people say that just talking to him makes us feel very nice.
That's true.
So
I'm with you on
tell
that.
us, yep. So tell us what about the book that you wrote. What is this book about?
Sorry, I couldn't hear you on that.
What is your book about? What is the content of the book that you have written? What's its name?
So the name of the book is called "The Stage Is Yours: Exploit Your Potential," and I started writing this book mainly. My intention behind this was mainly to go ahead and help people to, we always have different talents and gifts within us, but we all often fail to identify those gifts. And my effort in writing this book was mainly about helping people finding what their talents are, and slowly progressing towards making that a career. And we often get caught up in a 9 to 5 job, and many a times what happens is that we forget that our gifts are something, and that could actually open the doors to a lot of things that we ourselves are unknown to. So this is more of an effort to go ahead and educate, especially youngsters and basically anyone who kind of feels that it's not possible, and it is yet possible if you just give it a shot.
So are you someone who would tell people that it's okay to not study and pursue your passion, or would you want them to strike a balance?
I would say striking a balance is always good. One thing is because when you educate yourself, you kind of learn those kind of tactics, how to go ahead and tackle with future problems. But if you just go on the basis of your passion, there would always be a barrier or a roadblock that you may not be in a position to overcome. So education, using education in the right way to help you boost your success is what I'm completely in favor of.
Cool. By the way, you can drop that mic because my phone volume was set to low and that's why I couldn't hear you well. So I adjusted that. So, Sylvester, you've been into sales for 13 years.
Yes.
So, do you enjoy your sales job more, or do you enjoy the master of ceremony part more?
To be very honest, before I was a master of ceremony, I mean, after I completed my 12th, I started working in BPOs with a couple of my
Okay,
friends who were also your students, like Arzan and everyone, which I believe you know.
right.
So, so
I
we
think he's
both
in New
started
Zealand now.
together at. Yes, yes. He's also joined in here, so he's watching. So
Oh,
I
hi,
was in
Arzan.
touch with him about it. So we joined the BPO sector, and that time it was a booming thing because we were like 17, and that time I got into a process of sales, and I could actually feel so connected with it that I worked there for 1 year, in fact, and then till my graduation I was working in the night shifts, and morning we would go to college, complete our BMS, in fact. So I have always felt that that is something that comes to me naturally, connecting with people, speaking to strangers. I was never an introvert, I was always an extrovert. So that is something that I really, I mean, I could speak to anyone over the phone, and which I currently do as well on a daily basis.
So, yeah, I remember you were one of those students who I regularly used to chit chat with. Very few students generally, at that time, I didn't have this, this thick beard. I was clean shaved just like you are. But
Yeah,
still, people used to feel, Arey, how do I go and talk to Avi sir? And forget about doubts. Even general talking, people would be skeptic. But you were
right.
never the one to shy away. I still remember that.
That's true.
So, now, let's say someone like you wants to write a book. They
Mhm,
have stories in their head. What would be your
mhm.
advice to those people if they want to write a book?
I would say always go ahead and pen down things, whatever thoughts you have in your mind, right? Whenever you get a thought hitting your mind, pen it down. Because you may think at the back of your mind that I'm going to actually pen it down once I reach home, or maybe once I sit down in a room alone. But the original thought that crosses your mind, right, is something so sharp that will actually connect with everyone. But when you sit back at home later on and try to pen it down, right, you will never get that flow. You will always think, yeah, what was that? I cannot actually frame it the way actually it initially came to me. So the first thing is that if you find a, I mean, today we are using smartphones. So go to a particular draft, type it down, type out all your thoughts first, because what comes original to you, it's always better to go ahead and pen them down, and then follow later on when you have a lot of time, revisit those things and then start building on that. And simultaneously you will start getting ideas to go ahead and shape your book into a direction.
Yeah, because the first notes, I remember I read in a book called The Storyteller's Secret that one of the biggest airlines in the US, the plan of that airline was actually written on a tissue paper. On a tissue, they were sitting at a restaurant, and these two guys had this idea. They quickly opened that paper and they scribbled down notes, and that actually became the blueprint for launching an airline.
That's true. I will totally agree with this. In fact, there is something that I practice a lot because a couple of years ago I started following a mentor called Grant Cardin, who is one of the guys who is a great guy at sales. So I had taken a personal mentorship from him, and he had mentioned to me to write down your goals. So what I did is that at the age of 22, I written down my goals on a piece of paper and just stuck it to my door and would visit it every single day. Like whilst I would go to work and even come back. And you won't believe today I'm 30, and if I go back, if I still have that with me because that's the initial building of my graph at my career time. In fact, you won't believe it's like 7 years from that time. In fact, and I have achieved all those things. So there is a huge power in writing because when you write, in fact, you manifest that thing to come to you.
Cool. So now a little bit of comedy has happened. Someone was calling me right now, and when I disconnected that call, I have completely lost your voice. So can you hear me out there?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm positive.
Okay,
I can hear
fine.
you
So
clearly.
I'm gonna read your lips and assume that what you're saying is sensible, and you're not. So this is crazy. This has happened, I think, for the second time. Before this, last month I was going live and something like this happened. So maybe this is a lesson for me that I should put my phone on flight mode and use this through Wi-Fi. So we all learn
Yeah,
our lessons. So
that's true.
Sylvester, what are the future plans now? Now, what's your age?
I'm 30 right now.
30.
Yeah, but 16 by heart.
Okay. And what are your future plans now? What do you plan to do from here on?
So after the book launch, what I was looking at is majorly helping people. So I've taken this course of how to become a coach at helping different people follow their talents. In fact, so I'm going to work on that. I already started onto my second book. I do not have a title for it right now, but this time, after learning from my mistakes from my first book, I am sure to complete it within 30 to 120 days. So now I learned the tactics, in fact, how to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and focus on those things as well. Majorly right now, apart from work, I'm also looking at, helping people. That's one of the most important things because the person who trained me and mentored me, even she told me that, keeping your talent to yourself is doing no justice to it. So it's always good to share because while you share, you never know. I mean, there's one thing that she mentioned which is very clear to me right now as well. You cannot go ahead and go ahead and inspire everyone, but when your words fall onto somebody's minds, you never know that person can actually get so ignited that he could light a spark into so many other people's world. So I'm right now on that journey right now in kind of just spreading the news and helping people because I don't know whoever I go ahead and help, that person will end up going and doing so many great things in life.
Cool. So thank you, Anupam. Anupam has just typed out what you said, that you started coaching also. So my next question would be, uh, how are you going the coaching way? How do you intend to build your brand as a coach?
Sorry, I missed you there. Somebody just gave me a call. So the same shift. Could you repeat your question?
Okay, I'm just guessing that you answered it. I seriously can't hear a word you're saying. But anyways,
No. I would just repeat your question. I'll answer that.
how do you plan to take your brand as a coach ahead, as a
So
trainer?
the first thing that I've been actually looking out is just to help people selflessly because I need to go ahead and ignite some people on the positive side so that those testimonies could actually help me out in the future. I don't know I'll be able to make it like the big Les Browns or maybe Arfeen Khan or Tony Robbins, but I still want to make a difference in my way. And for that, I have a couple of people who are just helping them selflessly in whatever I can do, in fact. or to just help them out. Some may be good at painting, some are good at anchoring, in fact, and they just need certain mentor tips in terms of how to get great at what they do. Some are good at singing, so I have a few contacts wherein I just help them out with getting to the right people so that they could follow that, maybe on a weekend basis as well, to help them. So I'm just helping people right now till they get, and once they get to that success level, in fact, they will become the success story for me. So that's
Okay,
where I'm currently at.
Anupam just typed in, Mr. Dobby typed in that he is doing it pro bono right now. So from my own experience, I've been doing this for a long time. I'll tell you that start making some kind of adding some kind of a price tag to it, because I have realized that once you're offering things for free, people take you for granted. So as a teacher and as a well-wisher, I would definitely say that once you know that you're good enough and people are willing to spend time with you, you should also make them spend a dime with you. Well,
Yep.
that was a nice line.
Yeah, that should be a quote.
So, Sylvester, now, if I were to ask you, money versus happiness,
Hmm.
what would you choose?
I'm always choosing happiness, man, and I have an answer also to that.
But you need money to run your house, right?
Yes, absolutely. I'm
Then
no
how would
agreement, no disagree. So how do I go about it? Now? See, uh, can I give an answer in a very corporate way? Yeah. So here it is. Like uh, happiness for me was always sales and master of ceremonies. Okay. When I went for money, like, after my graduation, all the family members said, you should not work in a BPO. That's not the right job for you. You should work in a bank. You should work, in some 3i Infotech or some companies. After all those things, I went ahead and even tried working in one place also in a bank, and I was fired in 15 days. So that white collar job was making no sense to me. Out of 15 days, 8 days was the induction. So imagine, I couldn't even survive for another 5 days. And every time I joined this sales, and I must be very thankful to my wife as well, and that time my girlfriend, because she said one thing to me, that you do anything, but you can only sell. You should
cool?
only do that particular thing. So I was very fortunate to have a partner who could just point the right things about me. And she said, you're not somebody who could actually be stationed at one place only. You need to talk to people. You can't kind of keep quiet. So once again, once I joined back into sales, in fact, I have not looked back. So so when I'm talking about happiness here, I'm just currently doing what I'm happy at. That is sales, master of ceremonies. Those are things that I'm currently happy with. And money is following. I'm not even bothering about the money, but when I'm doing something that it keeps me happy, I'm simultaneously getting the things coming into the account.
That's awesome. So Cleopatra Aruj is saying she's right behind in the picture. Oh, is that it? Oh,
That's
that's your
there.
wedding picture, is it?
There. Yes, yes.
Cool. So so now one more thing. You don multiple hats. Okay, you are
Yeah.
a sales guy. You are an MC. You are also writing, and you are also into coaching.
Hmm.
So is it very difficult donning all these multiple hats at one time, or are you doing it effortlessly?
No, actually, sometimes it gets a little, I would say, a little tedious with your job. What I'm currently doing because of my traveling, in fact. But otherwise, I'm telling you, I have been so tired. But yet, if I have another show, like sometimes on Sundays, I do two shows so a morning slot and an evening wedding. And the very fact of me till the time I reach the venue, right, I may look a little tired, but once I reach the venue, right, once I know that it's going to be lights camera action, right, there's a different energy that I actually, that when I'm on stage, in fact. So I would say that I've never felt that it's tiring or something, because I like it, in fact, and I look forward towards such things, in fact. So I would not
Cool.
say it's tiring.
Anything in these last uh, 13 years you would like to change? Anything you think you should have done differently?
Um, you know, in the initial start of my career in comparing, and even in my job, in fact, I was a very small thinker. You know, I thought I thought very small, I thought very little, because I grew up in a family wherein, people would say that, doing big things is not something that is possible. Okay, and you need to uh, just think enough, kind of satisfied with enough. But over a period of time, once I was 23 and I started getting I started applying for mentorship by different people, in fact, I realized that your change in the mindset really matters. And when you think big, irrespective of whatever people think about you, you should not pay attention to that. Okay, just think big, and believe that it's going to happen. That will actually give you a huge push into space. So what I want to change about these 13 years is maybe those 4 years when I really didn't think too confident about myself. Today I would say it's a different thing. Today I feel that, anything I put my mind to, I can achieve it. So
Cool.
changing the
So
mindset is very important.
yeah, it's actually again, thanks Anupam, you've been really very helpful, because he's typing out all that you're saying so that I can read this. We all people like you and me who grew up in middle class, we are typically told that be happy with what you have. God ne jo diya hai. In Marathi we also have saying, ठेविले अनंते तैसे चिरावे, मतलब be happy with what your God has given you, what your creator has given you.
Hmm.
But yes, as you are saying, right, you need to have a shift in mindset. All these people who made it big in life, that is one common thing they had, right? That they dreamt
Yeah,
big. And it is said that people have said that if people are not laughing at your dreams, then your dreams are not big enough.
absolutely. You are
So what
so
is
right.
one
In fact, I've
parting?
got so many. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, you were saying something?
I was saying that I've got people laughing at me. I mean, it could be my own family members laughing at my dreams, but I say I don't even bother to go ahead and justify, because they don't dream big, so it's not their problem. I still love them as family, but my dreams are going to be very different than somebody else's dreams. So I would have to respect that. That's all.
Awesome. One final word of advice or one line of gyan to the listeners here today.
Uh, I would say whatever you're good at, just try to follow that. And once you reach the top, try to pull somebody up as well. Because staying at the top is going to be always lonely. But being around with people who you have helped and how they could be instrumental, there will not be a monetary gain, but there will always be a satisfactory thing in your heart that you were able to impact somebody's life positively.
Super. It was really awesome having you here, Sylvester. Thank you so much for joining.
Yeah.
Best of wishes to you for the books as well as your your public speaking engagements. Okay, there's a question that is there.
Yeah.
If you can read it from Namrata. If your passion couldn't
Okay.
raise money for survival.
If your passion couldn't raise money for survival, and for survival, your passion, then what's your opinion? I would say, immediately no passion will actually go ahead and help you to gain money. So you need to do it along with something. So sometimes there are some people who would want to start a company but they don't have money, right? So what they do, they try to gather money to fuel their passion. So you need to do certain things, and it's not that you need to just be focused on your passion. You need to kind of do certain things side by side so that you can actually fuel it. And once your passion starts kicking off and it starts generating income, in fact, still sustain it till it actually doubles your current passion, in fact, till it dominates the other thing, in fact, and then you go ahead and switch. So I would still be of the opinion saying that, it is possible. You need to, Les Brown says that, inch by inch you complete the yard. So, don't go completely for a long shot. Try winning inch by inch, and you will slowly complete the yard and reach your destiny.
Cool. It was awesome, man. You rocked the session, and I'm sure someone there in the other room is waiting to give you a big, tight hug.
Uh,
And
yeah,
Cleopatra
sure.
has
Thank you very much for
one
the
more question.
opportunity. And yeah,
When is your book launch plan? Cleopatra wants to know.
so it was on March 27th, but thanks to the lockdown. But now it should be probably once the lockdown is over, I should be uh, kind of expediting it out into this. I'm going to make it public as well soon. So I'm just waiting for the lockdown to get over. And once it gets in, it's going to be like, out there.
Well, better late than never. And
Absolutely.
we wish you all the best from everyone at Shetes and from all the viewers here on behalf of everyone watching. Thank you so much for joining and sharing your experiences. And we will
Thank you.
surely like to meet you before you fly out. And
Absolutely. Absolutely, sir.
see you soon,
Certainly.
man. Take care.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Take care, sir. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
But guys, thank you so much for joining. We are exactly, I think 7:30 ke upar ho gaya. So thank you for joining. At 8 o'clock tonight, I am Avirat, my personal channel. I will be interviewing Lieutenant Colonel Shiv. He is posted at Ladakh currently. So if you want to see and hear the experiences of an army man and a very cool gentleman, please join me at 8 o'clock at I am Avirat. And tomorrow at 7 p.m. here, we are going to be meeting again with one more expert. The name will be revealed in tomorrow's story. Please share if you care, share his story, share these things with people you know. This is the intent of bringing you back to basics online. Shetes wants you to be happy and full of positivity. Stay away from negative stuff, and we will keep bringing such positive people to you every evening at 7. Adios, amigos.